So
Okay.
let's talk. So tell me about how you foresee this hour being productive. Like, sorry, the rest of this hour being productive. Like, I want this to work for you for sure.
Yeah.
Were you thinking like VOD analysis? Were you thinking live coaching? Like, talk to me.
I don't want to do VOD analysis because mainly a lot of the stuff I have is only from like months ago, and I don't think it's a good indicator as to how I usually play. Um, we can do a bit of live, and like in all honesty, I'm kind of just down just to like talk. I feel like even the fact of like just talking about like overshooting with punishing, what would you do against Peach and stuff is super helpful. Like I think a big problem I have with the game is that I haven't thought about situations like that before. Like a lot of people are very good at, you know, knowing stats, knowing I guess numbers or hitboxes and stuff like that, and I've never
Saved this for
known that stuff. And I'm not saying that like, oh, I'm proudly ignorant of it or anything like that. It's more so I've always just kind of played off of vibes. Like if that's why I said laser, for example, because that's probably what I would have done if a Peach is shielding and I just like hit their shield on the back of it and I'm a good distance away. I'd probably start lasering. And the point of, you know, it's kind of just resetting neutral and you're not pushing your like advantage state, I guess you can call it, further. Is
Yeah.
it's eye-opening. So I guess like kind of just talking about things. Let me just pull up what VODs I have on YouTube and maybe see if there's even one that I'm just even.
You know what? I think that a conceptual lesson makes a lot of sense, and maybe what we could do is like we can spend maybe like 10-15 minutes on a concept, have you throw you into like unranked for a bit or ranked or whatever is your fancy, and see if what we can apply there. So let me share my screen, and let me know if you can see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
Perfect. So this is by Phrigid, who is lovely. Let me know if the volume's okay.
Yep.
Teaching neutral in any fighting game is hard.
Turn up just a little bit.
A lot can happen in a short amount of time.
Yeah, let's go.
And it can be hard digesting it all into what your next move should be. My goal is to show you how you can simplify some of that information and how to form a rough game plan from it. I can't cover every possible factor in neutral, but the ones I'm about to talk about are what I think of as the most general and broad options to consider. There's a lot more you can dive into with neutral, but this is a fundamental, big picture view and is how I'd explain to someone learning for the first time. With that being said, I can move on to the first concept. Let's start with commitments. A commitment is essentially the risk reward level when performing an action and can generally be categorized in one of two ways: a soft or a hard commitment. Hard commitments are actions that are immediately punishable and can typically be punished on reaction. They're actions that come with significant rewards when they work, but significant punishment when they don't. Soft commitments, on the other hand, are actions that are not immediately punishable.
So what would be an example of a soft commitment, you think?
Sorry, do you mind just going back like 10 seconds to the definition?
Yeah, not a problem.
What would be a soft commitment? I don't know, I can only think of hard commitments right now.
So what would be a hard commitment?
I would say like side being as Falcon against someone. Like that is really hard commitment. If you land the side B, sure it pops them up, but more often than not, like it's really reactionable just to shield.
Yeah, shield or crouch, yep, or buffer style dodge, yep. All those.
Yeah. What else? Another hard commitment would be as Fox running in and naring at the person. Like if you hit them, like I mean, I guess at a higher percent. If you hit them, great. If not, then you're probably getting grabbed.
Wait, you consider like short hop nair with Fox like to be a hard commitment?
Maybe when I do it, just because I'm continuously doing it at the other person with not a thought in the world. But yeah, maybe because I feel like I get punished so much for it, and I'm either doing it too early or I'm not landing fast enough with it.
Let's not assign an Let's not evaluate our play based on these without any examples, because I think that we're just gonna like we are our own worst critics. And I think that if we don't have any data backing up our claims, then like let's not. The problem is we've relied too much on vibes. Let's not continue to rely on vibes. You know?
No, for sure. So yeah, like it's like Falcon side B, Marth F smash.
Typically can't be punished unless predicted.
So would you say that Sheik's forward? Would you say that Sheik's forward tilt is a hard commit? Probably not, right?
Yeah, and like I would say no, just mainly off the fact of like it's fairly quick and it stuffs out a lot of things. Like unless you're jumping over her and you have a good amount of height and like you can land faster, I feel like it's not as reactionable.
Right, but if you jumped over her into a very specific position, you probably needed to predict that on some level. Maybe not a direct call out, but you still had to prepare for it. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah.
And that's what they're getting at. Like in the example of you naring someone repeatedly, they probably have to like be preparing for the nair at least in some capacity in advance by like, you know, maybe holding a certain amount of space back, maybe ASDIing down. Like there's certain things steps they have to take. It's not like they could just react to you nairing. They had to prepare. And that's really the distinction. Because like look at these moves. Look at the moves in the example and you'll see what I mean.
And lag, and typically can't be punished unless predicted. It's important to note that actions by themselves are not hard or soft commitments. It's when and how you use them that determines the commitment level. While actions like smash attacks are almost always hard commitments, an action like Marth's short hop fair would be a soft commitment when spaced properly, but would be a fairly hard commitment up close to someone's shield. When you recognize someone's action as a hard commitment, pay attention to what leads up to it so you can bait it out and punish afterwards.
So what would be an example of something that Marth does to set up his forward smash?
Would pivot count?
Absolutely. What's something he does more commonly though?
Definitely like what I don't know, like I'm gonna call it tech chasing on the pot. Like for example, as Fox, if he knock like up tilts me from below and I'm landing on the platform and I roll, F smash is coming out like usually.
That's a combo, though. This is all about neutral. So,
okay.
What about if you're like playing far away from him? Do you ever see them run up to you and like forward smash?
Yeah.
So that would be a dash cancel or run cancel, I guess. Whatever, running crouch, whatever you want to call it. So
yeah,
him going from dash to run to crouch to F smash, that would be what's leading up to it.
Okay.
What about when Falcos want to kill you with forward smash at high percent? What do they usually do? Like they've just put you on the ledge and you're like fighting your way back from the corner. What's something that they usually do to set that up? Trust your instincts. This is the time where vibes are good.
Yeah. Okay. So, sorry. Can you repeat where I am on the stage? Am I on the ledge? You said.
Well, let's say you're fighting on like around. Like he just comboed you into the corner. Like you grabbed the edge and ledge dashed back on, and he's like still doing his Falco stuff, like to try to like pressure you. Yeah.
So laser's one, like laser, and then while you're still stunned, getting the F smash. What else would another one be?
How does he move before doing it? Sometimes does he ever like lock somewhere or like wave dash somewhere or?
Yeah, I would say like walking back or like creating a bit of, I don't know if back is like the word here, but just creating a bit of space up either like through, I don't think it's a dash. Usually it's a wave dash of like wave dash back F smash, for example.
Or walk away to F smash. Yeah, like absolutely those would count. So those would be lead-ins. So this is what he's saying. Like when you notice somebody's going for big hits or like big commitments, it's important to pay attention to and like be aware of how they like to set that up.
Yeah.
Because this gives you your reaction window, like your reaction point to like know that they're going for this, prepare, and then act accordingly. And then for soft commitments, it's usually the thing that comes after.
When you recognize an action as a soft commitment, pay attention to what comes after. There are generally only a handful of options a character will do after a soft commitment action, and you can plan around punishing the secondary action instead of the initial one. The next concept is overshooting, undershooting, and whiff punishing. I'll explain each of them in case you aren't familiar. Overshooting is essentially pushing your attack further out than you normally would and is used to catch opponents running away. Undershooting is attacking where your opponent is about to approach from, and is basically intended for your opponent to run into. Whiff punishing is the act of waiting for your opponent to throw out a move so you can punish them while they're stuck in lag. Pretty much just being patient and dash dancing. I think of these options similar to that of rock, paper, scissors. These three options generally work in the following way. Overshooting beats whiff punishing beats undershooting, and undershooting beats overshooting. If your opponent dash dances around your attacks, overshooting and pushing your attacks further will generally catch them dashing away. If your opponent is aggressively approaching you, undershooting with a large enough hitbox can usually either outspace the attack or catch them mid-dash before they get the move out. If you keep running into your opponent's hitboxes, you need to be a bit more patient and punish them after. An important note too is that you might pick the right option in this rock, paper, scissors, but still lose because you didn't do it well enough. For example, undershoots can lose to other undershoots if one is spaced better than the other. Undershoots can also lose to overshoots if you don't time it right to stuff your opponent. Dash dancing can lose to undershooting if you're not spacing correctly. And lastly, overshooting can lose to dash dancing if you don't push it far enough. I saved this for last because most new players won't commit to overshooting far enough and get dash back grabbed a lot. Remember to aim where your opponent is going to be and not where they currently are.
That's
you've
key.
determined
Yeah.
which part of the overshoot, undershoot, and dash
If you ever want me to
cycle
pause,
need
just
be
let me
in,
know.
You actually play
Yeah, do you
rock,
actually mind
paper,
just
scissors.
pausing back at that diagram of Stadium where like the fox where it had the arrows of like Martha's going to land in this area?
Yeah, not a problem. So let's see here. Should be
and get
from-
dash back grab. Going to be and not.
Okay, so we were a little back, but that's fine. We can do this.
Perfect. So this is actually like a super helpful, I don't know if like you'd call it diagram or something like that, but
I would count that,
like,
yeah.
yeah, so like the bottom arrows are important. And I feel like how I've always seen it was that there's one arrow where it says punish dash back here. And obviously Marth has like multiple ranges, but like as they said, like following up on the secondary option is the thing that you're looking to do here. And so there's multiple that you have to consider, like I guess ranges I could call them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that I like that.
Yeah, so he's gonna get they're gonna get to it, but like this game is, in my opinion, the Smash Brothers games from Melee onwards are all characterized by having two features. There's this positional RPS system, and then there's another one that the other one that we're more familiar with that runs alongside it. So we have like grab, attack, and then shield / crouch, and then we have the undershoot, overshoot, whiff, punish, triangle. And really the way the two of them work, they kind of work together. Not always, but like they kind of work in tandem, because one of them determines the placement of your option and the other one did like how it was done, and the other determines what you went for. So you can actually win exchanges on both categories, because that's like a really critical element. A lot of people think that you can just win with one or the other. No, you cannot. Maybe to a point, like certainly to a point, but like not forever.
Yeah.
And not where they currently.
Is that cool, huh?
Yeah.
So how can you see some places in your game where you might have, or like some situations that you've played recently that where you might have benefited from knowing some of this stuff?
Oh, 100%. Like even just like I said, just for this point alone of like, I've always reduced it down to like a black and white type of thing of like, okay, if I'm going to overshoot his Marth, he's going to probably land here, but there's like that multiple option consideration, or like maybe just like lengths, I guess, that he can dash back and get the grab. I've always been like very predictable of like only going for one, I guess, range or like area that they would be in, and there's more to consider. Some other ones, I'm trying to think here.
I'll play the video while you're thinking, but if you think of any, let me know.
Sounds good.
Are. Once you've determined which part of the overshoot, undershoot, and dash dancing cycle you need to be in, you actually play rock, paper, scissors one more time. This second RPS cycle is made up of shielding, grabbing, and hitboxes, and works like this. Shielding beats hitboxes, grab beats shielding, and hitboxes beat grab. This wheel is pretty self-explanatory, but I want to stress consciously mixing up these options and how it makes all of them stronger tools. I'll find players who overshoot to where I'm dash dancing, but only with hitboxes. If I know a Fox player will just attack with hitboxes over and over, I can pretty comfortably focus on just shielding. This is what makes tomahawking, or empty hop grabbing, such a strong option. If I think you're going to attack and you run at me with a grab instead, I have to consider the drawbacks of shielding a lot more now. Consciously mixing up means you'll force them to consider doing
can we
something
pause it
else
for one
and play
Yeah,
at
of
least
course.
a little.
I guess so. In my brain, and I guess even from my experience, if I were just to run at someone and go for a grab, I would get hit for it, or I would get punished for it. And in this scenario where they said, like, you know, like if someone's running at me with just pure hitboxes, I'm going to shield, and obviously that's the game right there of like you are tricking them into thinking that you're going to run at hitboxes, so they shield, and then you can easily just run up and get grabbed, right? We're following this so far. How, I guess, like if you run up constantly at a hitbox to someone, you're going to get punished one way or another, like tricking them into the shield, but Like, can you not just act out of shield to avoid getting grabbed?
Yeah, of course. So you could raise shield and then like wave dash back as a bait. That's a common thing that Peaches do, because they can like then pull you into their dress and kill you. That's a common thing that Sheiks do for the same reason. Marth as well. Yeah, absolutely. There's still counterplay, but what we can point out here is now we're like mixing in a new step of that of the previous RPS triangle in here, aren't we? Because our shield doesn't actually counter what the grab that the opponent's doing, but because they're attacking where we are, that is what's giving us our opportunity. So then we have an opportunity to use our limited whiff punishing options with wave dash back or whatever we're doing, and then that is what's giving us our opening. So that is the two systems running concurrently.
Gotcha. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep. We're going to keep going.
Yeah. That is
Okay. So
I'm pretty sure I've beaten like
are hard and soft commitments. The overshoot,
I forget which good
undershoot,
fox
and
it was,
whiff
but it
punish
was one of them
RPS,
with that.
and mixing up hitboxes
With like wave dash back grab.
Here's an example
out
of
of
what
shield.
this might look like in game. Let's say a game just started and a Falcon and a Marth are both soft committing with dash dances and spaced aerials. Neither one is hard committing yet, but Marth notices the Falcon likes to nair in place and then dash back a lot. Marth simplifies this down to Falcon soft commits to an undershot attack and then retreats. Marth looks out for Captain Falcon's initial nair, then wave dashes forward and F smashes him afterwards, catching the dash back. Marth used dash dancing to avoid Falcon's undershoot, then made a correct read on Falcon's soft commitments to punish with an overshoot afterwards. The Captain Falcon hasn't completely lost though. The game continues and we end up in the same situation as before. Falcon recognizes Marth's F-Smash as a hard commitment option and plans to bait the attack out. Captain Falcon, thinking back, recognizes that Marth dash dances to wait out Falcon's nair before committing to F-Smashing Falcon's dash back. Falcon now knows when and where Marth's hard commitment is coming and just needs to use the appropriate mix-up. Falcon now throws out the same nair he's done the whole match, only instead of dashing back, he opts to shield. Marth, still expecting dash back, wave dashes in, F smashes Falcon's shield, and gets down throw need.
So
Falcon
if we could pause
recognizes
just for a quick question. In this scenario where the Marth got punished for that, could they not have just reacted and grabbed?
to the shield.
Like, obviously this is looking from an idea. Yeah. Could Marth just have not grabbed Falcon there?
Shield comes out in one frame, and then forward smash comes out significantly later than that. So there is like a possibility, depending on how willing the Marth is to wait and observe, that he might do that. He would need to think that there's a chance Falcon does that though.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because like remember, he's doing that forward smash, and overshoots are always like kind of like at least partially a read. They're like there's some amount of anticipation required with them because you are like going into their zone without like attacking. So usually like the confirmation is, okay, did they move away from us in some way, and are we getting hit? Okay, no, cool, swing. Now that's not a perfect system, and I'm sure there's like refinement that top level players do, like and higher level players do. Like I know I have certain cues and tells that I did with Sheik for that, but I would say that the burden is on Marth at that point. Once Falcon is aware that he likes to do that, in the same way that the burden was on Falcon when Marth was aware he liked to dash back. Yeah.
Okay.
how to get Marth to hard commit, and then mixed up his options to catch Marth off guard. Wrapping up, here's everything we've gone over. Try to recognize how hard of a commitment an action is. Look for what comes after a soft commitment and what leads up to a hard commitment. Overshoot if your opponent is dash dancing around you, undershoot if your opponent overshoots at you, and patiently whiff punish if your opponent keeps undershooting. Lastly, consciously mix up between attacking, grabbing, and shielding. Hopefully this video helps you understand.
Yeah. So, I love this video. It's one of my favorite.
It's really nicely done.
It's so good. And the thing is, like, what I like about this is it explains a lot of, like, the weird, like, I've kind of tried to expand on it, like, and go further with this, because I think this is really that good. This has answered a lot of, like, the weird questions I've had about, like, why certain strategies work against certain characters. Like, I've never felt like just Camp Luigi was the play. It's part of it, but it's not, like, the whole picture. I've always felt like attacking him's actually really good, because he's really bad at avoiding hits. This is why. It's... Yeah. Like, so how many times have you fought Trevor and he, like, wave dashed at you when you dashed away and then he hit you?
Good, like, too many times to count. Probably
like 8 trillion times. Yeah, everyone who lives near the Luigi in the region like has had that. So I feel your pain. The reason for that is Luigi's actually really good at 2 of the 3 things on the triangle, isn't he? He's really good at undershooting because of his like insane moves, and then he's good at overshooting because of his insane wave dash. But then for whiff punishing, his jump sucks, his dash dance sucks, and his wave dash is really long, which makes it really bad for whiff punishing because he just goes too far. So it's just kind of like it cleared up so many like so much confusion I've had, because I've always felt like just playing in the diagonals and attacking him a lot once you either breach or like pin him with them is like the way to go. And I felt like just camp him lol was like how I whenever like the one time I lost that matchup in tournament like to a bait, I was like, ugh, what am I doing? And this is it. Like this
Yeah, I like how, like, as you said, like, you instill it down to, like, the 2 things, like, of, like, whiff punishing isn't a play here, it's the other 2. I haven't thought of it that way before the game.
Yeah, so, with this in mind, how do you feel about trying to apply this in some games? Or do you want to keep, like, going with theoretical stuff? But I think that you'd probably, like, I think that knowing this, your play will probably be a little different, and that might be cool to see. What do you think?
I agree. It would also be interesting of like, okay, like even just saying, okay, you undershoot like a lot when playing, for example. It would be good to know. So let me go grab the controller. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries. I'm going to stop streaming though, because, yeah, we'll do spectator mode.
All right.
Yeah, have you done spectator mode before?
Yep.
Perfect.
Would it be easier just to share my screen, or do you want me to do the spectator?
Whichever works for you.
Okay. I'll just do,
Sure. How do you find this is going, by the way? Do you find that, like, is it worth the whatever you paid for it?
Oh, 100. I think like, you could have told me, like, dude, just stop naring and hung up the call, and I probably would have taken that and, like, dissected that for so long and figured it out.
I would never waste your time.
Anything like just talking about the game in general. Like, as I said, I've always been like, okay, I'm just, playing for fun. I'm kind of just doing what makes my hands happy and not, like, thinking about it. So just even thinking about it of, like, the different interactions and, as you said, kind of the RPS, really helpful.
That's good to hear. Okay, so let me know when you're let me know when we're good.
Yep.
And, yeah, we'll take it from there.
Okay, spectate. And here. Confirm. Play. And here you go.
Oh, yeah, we are doing spectate. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Should I do... I feel like doing ranked is probably the way to go, and that way people won't quit out after one game. What do you think?
I think that we should do whatever you're comfortable with. So if you think that's ranked, that's fine. If you want to do unranked, also totally fine.
What time is it? Let's do... It's 5... Let's do just unranked. A quick unranked, and then, that way we just have more time to talk about it. It's not like a full set or anything.
Yeah, agreed. So we'll do that, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. So I'm gonna play just, how I would usually play, but I'm gonna try to put more of a thought into... Oh, great. Yeah, into what we've talked about.
So ice climbers are similar to Luigi in that they're like really good at bad at whiff punishing, but they're really good at undershooting and overshooting. So use that to like govern your decision making. Okay, kill the other one. Alright, whatever, to kill him. Committed to that plan. No, just up smash him. Like when you had him in the recovery, once you committed to not like you don't want to half bake it versus them. Like once you committed to going after Popo, you should have just like you should that was the line you took. Don't like go back. Don't change your mind.
Yeah. Bad input. That's the way it goes.
So what would you say is your general plan versus these guys, if anything?
That's a great question. I'm not too sure. I don't have a ton of Ice Climbers experience. Like Vanitas is really the only person I've ever like Icy I've played. Main one is just like I usually try to take the first stock to see if how I know a lot of people are just like, oh, I like to kill Popo or Nana first. Kind of just like to see how much they protect Nana for the first time. Some Ice Climbers are not great at it. But also just my whole thing is just trying to bully them and separate them as much as possible.
Yeah. I notice you drill a lot. Once they hit like mid game, I would be more bold about your attack choices.
Mm-hmm.
Like nair, back air, like up air, up tilt even. Like I wouldn't be afraid of them.
Yeah.
Like see how much you got with that?
Yeah.
And again, like like she's above you, you can just hit them away together. Oh, he baited him, lol. So they're going to try to they like to overshoot when they approach, so we want to play in the diagonals, like above, like we want to play like outside of their wave dash.
Mm-hmm.
Like in a spot where they have to wave dash and jump to hit you, basically. If we're playing defensively.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice chase down. Okay, I'm starting to see some of it. Let's play against somebody else after this, though. They're not really strong enough for us to like really get much from them. But I can see that you're applying things. Try to use like I would go for like jab. Like at this percent, I notice you don't really go for like kills other than up throw up air or like up smash. But we could go for like jabs and things too, like some stuff that sets up. Try jab up smashing the Popo.
Look at that.
Yeah. I would always running jab.
Yeah.
In that spot, because wave dash is just it's too telegraphed, and we can't change our mind on the way over or when we get there.
Yeah, it's like if I were to jab, like let's say jab both of them, am I actionable before they are?
At that percent, yeah, definitely.
Okay. I'll search for someone else.
Yeah. Nothing against them. I mean, like, so the thing about jab up smash is that usually it's a surprise. Like, it is still beatable, but yeah. Like, it's still beatable with, like, ASDI down and all that jazz, but, like, if they don't do that, then it just works. Oh, we could have shined him.
Yeah, I meant to shine. Drop and shine.
Alright, I like what we're seeing here. You're kind of bodying everyone today.
Fresh games after work, it's crazy. I'm actually able to at least move.
Nice. Up tilt? Yeah.
Amazing. Alright, so I search for someone else?
Yeah, let's not play this person.
They disconnect, yeah.
Okay, if we get another bad one, we're just doing ranked. Like, I'm getting...
Yeah.
Okay, Sheik player. These are usually, like, at least okay. So nice, we got the standard combo. So I would be bad. So you were a little misaligned there, for that up air. If the up air is awkward, what do you do? What's something you can do instead? All right, we're doing ranked. This is ridiculous. But yeah, if you're like slightly misaligned for up air, what do you think you can do instead?
Back air, but in that situation, I was facing them, right?
Yeah, we can turn around.
Yeah. So definitely back air. I don't think nair.
Why not nair?
Would it send far? I don't know. I guess I've never seen it as a good option in that scenario.
Try it.
Okay.
It hits her forward off stage. She's Sheik, and you land first anyway. Like, I don't see the problem here.
Okay.
Like, do you see a problem with that?
No, I don't. It's just not something I've ever like. Yeah, it's just not something I've ever taken into consideration before.
Similarly with back air, if she's in stun, like if we're facing her, we just reverse back air. It's fine. Like,
yeah. Oh god, it's Dr. Mario. Fuck.
it's fine. We'll be okay. We
will be okay. It's I know what both sides of the coin are like for this one.
We'll have some fun with it. Don't worry. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
So interestingly, what would you consider Dr. Mario's pill or Falco's laser in the undershoot and overshoot category? It's not whiff punishing, clearly.
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe
I'm not sure.
Maybe things can be more than one thing. Maybe they can be both.
Yeah, it's just like they're just mainly just used for like taking up space, essentially.
Yeah, but they still catch the opponent when they go away. So one thing I'm noticing about him, he undershoots a lot. So like we can whiff punish. We can use our full hop for that. That's quite good. We can also use our dash dance. That's also very good. Yeah. There, he was just like standing still. Nice. Nice. And you can see what I mean by him undershooting, because he like nared at you, and then he like up tilted, and then like See, he did it again. So yeah, with undershoots, if your undershoots beat their undershoots, that's also fine. Like, so your back air, your up tilt, you can definitely make a wall and make Doc pay for it.
Yeah.
Like for picking Dr. Mario. Alright, so we're dead to like the two-step. That's fine. Because I feel like this is all stuff you knew that like to do already. But do you find that like knowing about the dynamic of it changes how you like view it?
Yeah, 100%. It's more of like doing things with a purpose versus just like knowing that's the thing that you kind of like is good to do in that scenario.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, like, because we have a model, like a way of understanding the interaction, we're not like if the metagame changes and suddenly what the thing to do like shifts, we have a way to understand why that shift happened, how it happened, and then like we can implement it more easily. Then it's just like we'll just learn the new thing.
Yeah. I should have punished that better.
It's all good. Nice. Nice and easy. No need to like worry. We're cool, calm, collected in our zone.
We're vibing.
Exactly. This guy's free. At least, right? If for this game he is. I would just grab him. Like I know that you try to like hit him when he goes off, but people are better at like snapping to the edge now.
Yeah.
And like that is genuine count. Like it's just a chump check. So, but if he's within range, to grab or like hit him, then I think that's good. And if he's not, then like just let him on the edge and pressure him. Like just set up shop. It's fine. You'll win like slightly later.
Yeah.
Like that. Like we could have just done that when we shined him on the stage. Sure, he was at like 18, but like we can combo off that up smash if he holds in.
Yeah. I feel like in all honesty, I also got lucky with the jump cancel up smash of like I kind of figured that would be the jump where he came back onto stage, but otherwise if I like whiffed that, I would have not been in a great spot.
Oh, do you want to know how you can tell?
Sure.
Just keep an eye out for where their rings are, for like their double jump rings, because if they're like coming up on the stage, they happen sooner. And if they're if they're ledge stalling, they happen later because they drop down further and then double. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can just keep an eye out for that, and it'll tell you.
Okay.
It's really useful versus Sheik and other characters who stall the edge. So like, all the top tiers except like Falcon.
Yeah.
Actually, even he kind of does it nowadays. Guess like not ice climbers, they're high tier or mid tier, whatever they are. So he's now like he's looking for kind of whiff punishes, but he's doing them kind of weirdly because he's using his pills for them.
Yeah.
It's like whiff punish undershoot kind of dynamic, so just like, deal with accordingly. If he changes, we'll keep an eye out for it. So he's undershooting, playing a little more on stage. So again, The name of the game is we respond accordingly.
Yeah. I try to go to the ledge.
I would have gone higher. Why the ledge?
Just because it was safer. I got caped last time. I knew he wasn't caping the last game, for example, and now he's did it once, and I'm like, he's gonna be cape addicted.
See, that's interesting. So, like, I view the ledge as, like, more dangerous because he's already standing near it, right? So he can just, like, run off and cape and still cover that and kind of, like, the forward options. That's why I like going up, because it requires a different answer.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is up air work on Dr. Mario like that?
No, but, like, it's one of those things where, like, it's close enough. Like, he does have counterplay, but, like, it's not terribly good. So, it works enough. It is still worth going for.
Tuffy, that's okay. We got this.
I mean, it's fine. Good. I like that you knew to not, like, fly at him and then kill yourself. Like, that was good.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, like, would just do that.
Yeah.
So we go straight up there.
Okay.
Because remember, it turns direction, but if we don't have a direction, we just keep going up. Like, he'll still turn us around, but we just functionally just go up.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we take those.
Yeah. Are you confident in dash, jump, cancel, up, smash?
No. It's actually just something that I, like, have been integrating in my gameplay for the past few months.
I would try to, like, whenever you up smash, I would try to make that, like, if you have to running up smash or wave dash up smash, try to make it the jump cancel one if you can. Because, like, it's just it's so good. Also, you usually do it after, like, for wave shining this character, like, if you want to do wave shine, wave dash, up smash, it's usually better to dash, jump, cancel, up smash anyway because of his low traction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you need that on Marth, too. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. Alrighty. So,
cool.
Let's pause here just for a moment.
Yep.
How are you feeling about those matches? And yeah, was there anything different that you did in them, you think, because of what we kind of the things we went over?
So number one, first I'll just strictly just talk about, like, the Dr. Mario game, for example, just because that was, like, the only fleshed out set I feel like that I got to play. So for that, number one, I feel like that person was not using Doc to Doc's full potential. Like, I felt like I can kind of just, like, what's the word I'm looking for here? I can tier list them essentially of just, like, by being the better character. Like, they didn't, like, chain grab me, for example. I think they only got one up throw up fair kill. So, and they didn't really, like, they weren't spamming pills, really, like...
Not the best Doc, no, agreed, but...
Yeah, so I felt like I didn't really have a lot of trouble there. One of them was... This comes down to, like, just game knowledge, and so, for example, like, to your point of, like, knowing the rings of when they're coming on stage versus when they're refreshing, there was a few scenarios where I feel like I could have closed it out better had I known how to edgeguard Dr. Mario better. I know you said, like, strictly talking about, like, what we talked about previously, but I'm just kind of going over in my head my thoughts. And I guess in that scenario with whiff punishing, I felt more comfortable being in shield and trying to whiff punish Doc that game. I knew they did not really have it to punish me after if I made a mistake as well. And I'm trying to see, they, as you mentioned, like, they kind of undershoot a bit, especially with, like, Nair. Docs like to do that because obviously it stays out. And I think for me, I kind of found, I don't know, like, if you would call this an undershoot, but just kind of, like, dashing and, like, a little bit in front of them, just wave shining towards them. Like, I felt if I did that, most of the time it would either hit with him and I would be able to get a follow-up, or they would respect it and, like, roll backwards or move backwards, for example. Like, it kind of just felt like a freeway. I don't know if you would call that undershooting, but...
sounds like a whiff punish, kind of, because you're waiting for him to do something, right? Or are you just going in?
You're right. I guess if I do think about it, I am waiting for him to do something. I'm waiting for him to either, I guess, like get hit and see what he does next, or how he's going to avoid getting hit. Like I don't think there is a scenario where he rolled behind me, for example.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so if you're dash dancing and he's like and you're waiting for him to move back or something, like you're waiting, you're calling out a retreat motion, that would be an overshoot. It's definitely an overshoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're catching him as he's moving away.
True. Okay. I'm trying to think of just even that. That game more than like I'm sure Quiggles can attest to this is that like they can be at 999% and I will still up smash their shield. Like I just don't grab for some reason. That game I felt like I put way more brain power into thinking about like their shielding. Like now's a good time to go for a grab. So I felt like I capitalized on that a lot better, and it led to like a couple up throw up airs, and like a few of them took a stock. And
that alone is like really good, because like that means that you're because in the past, if you're always going to attack shield and now you recognize the necessity of like mixing up there, it's huge.
And I don't know what you would let me say it first and then I'll try to think about what it is. But like as you mentioned, like drilling in that game, I felt like not that drilling would get me more out of it, but it would force an action out of that person where it was easier for me to follow up on something, if that makes sense. So like, if I drilled their shield, I knew they weren't going to like up B cancel it, for example, and I would get popped up. I knew that they were going to like move away from me. They weren't going to attack me in return.
Okay.
So I felt pretty safe like drilling their shield and then naring, for example, because I knew it was just creating threatening space and it wasn't going to be like contesting with any of their hitboxes or anything like that. I knew they'd be like rolling away or wave dashing back or something like that. And this is not to like the points of like like the concept of like whiff punishing and overshooting and stuff like that, but I felt like that game I still had that rhythm of just like repeatedly running in and either doing like a drill, a nair, or a wave shine or something like that. And it's not that those are like necessarily bad, but I didn't know why I was doing them. It just felt like instinctually of like, okay, I want to fight. I know I can bully you. Like I can outmuscle you in this situation. Like let's scrap. And I know
Fox is a stronger character up close than Dr. Mario. You're the faster character, and your scrapping tools are better. You have more ways of breaking his defense. I think that that's just the game plan you've decided on. That's fine.
Yeah.
Like I don't see anything wrong. Like sometimes you will be in a matchup and you'll be like, why am I doing that? And it's like, well, it's because it's good.
Yeah.
Like that's it. It's just
I just feel like sorry, go ahead, continue on.
I was gonna say, like, you've played a whopping 2 games against this person, so it's not like you can know his habits or like things like that. So yeah, I would just say that this you're probably just doing it because you assessed it and you default said, okay, this is how we're gonna win this matchup, and you just like this is how we're gonna win this game. You committed to that plan, and that's why you did it.
True. I feel like if, for example, that Dr. Mario was better, like I would not have gone away with so many of the aerials on shield, for example. Like,
sure.
It's good that I'm doing that because you're right. Like it's just it's obviously like as you mentioned, like that's only 2 games against the person. I could have maybe played them for an hour and they would have started grabbing. Like if I hit their shield a lot more, I don't know, but
So what would you do about that?
I would definitely start overshooting like a lot more instead of, because in that situation I was like naring and I would land like right in front of them, for example, because I'm trying to follow it up with a shine or like a nair or something like that. If I felt like every time I was doing that I would get grabbed, then I would start trying to overshoot. But I don't even know if that would be like the best option against Doc.
Well, what I would say a good option would be is like you mentioned you're doing nair on shield. Nair on shield is incredibly safe if you want it to be. Why not just make it safe? Why not just like delay it and like do it later in your jump?
Yeah. That's I get like I think because of how like I'll use the term of like newbie brained it is just that I've had of like repeatedly running in and naring of like, you're right, like even if you're gonna do that, you can just mix up the height with it. Like you can make it safer. You know. And I feel like I just did, like, I'm sure if we went back and watched that like game, I nared at the same height every single time. It wasn't being mixed up.
Yeah, but like the thing is that you can't really you can't really fault yourself for not doing something that you didn't know you had to do. That would be something I comment on.
True. Yep.
So what I would say is this is a video that I think that you will find particularly helpful.
Yeah.
This is by Hacks himself. It's positions on the Leffen thing aside, his content's quite good.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Yep. So this one in particular is all about their shield pressure and what makes it effective, and how you can execute it in very concrete terms. Now, some of this will involve frames, so I'm gonna actually pull up the video and we'll walk through. I know we're over time. It's fine, but like by a minute, it's fine. But basically, let me share my screen. Cool. So
disadvantage you can never afford to have.
So in this video, he's talked a little bit about frame data. So
I think it's sharing the wrong window.
Oh, is it sharing the other one? Oh my goodness, my bad.
It's okay. I was like, oh, it's a call within a call. Cool.
Change windows, screens, screen 2. There we go. Do we have it fixed?
No, I think you might have to turn the stream off and then restart it.
Okay.
Before you land. Hitting the frame before you land is that.
Okay, so let me try this one more time. Share your screen. Screen 2. How are we doing?
Watch stream. Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Okay. So, let's just watch the intro real quick.
Pressuring your opponent's shield in melee is both an art and a science. Fox and Falco's shield pressure is especially complex in both of these regards. Players like Mango excel at the psychological aspect of shield pressure, whereas players like myself excel at understanding the frame data behind it. Ultimately, both sides of the coin are equally important. In this video, I'll be going over key concepts to keep in mind so that you can win on both fronts when shield pressuring. The first step to shield pressure is engaging your opponent's shield. This is most often done with a nair, bear, or dare.
So this is
Nair
important.
The ideal choice since it has the best shield stun to landing lag ratio. Nair can be as good as +0 on shield if it hits on the exact frame before you land. Hitting on the frame before you land is ideal.
So what do you think +0 means?
You're neutral. Like, you're both actionable at the same time.
Perfect. Love that you know that.
However, if you're unable to do so, then you'll lose a frame of advantage for each frame earlier that you hit your opponent. The worst frame disadvantage you can ever afford to have is -6, because this is still good enough to beat shield grab with shine. A -6 nair occurs when your nair connects 7 frames prior to landing, which means frame 9 of Fox's shuffle or frame 11 of Falco's shuffle.
So what this means is if you're always doing like the earliest nair that you possibly can, because Fox is airborne for 15 frames with a short hop fast fall. Like assuming you fast fall as soon as possible, he's airborne for 15. So what all Hacks is saying here is that like if you delay your nair to about here, it will basically always be and hit the fast fall. It'll always be safe on shield from grabs.
Today I learned. Damn.
Yeah, and then
I've always been so scared of it. Like.
Yeah, no, nair is crazy. Like they're so good. And then he goes into like information about like how you can do it with bear. Back air is a little bit more complicated than this in my personal opinion. The reason is because you can space it outside of shield grabs, and that changes the dynamic of like what the opponent's available options are. But for the purposes of this video, I think that like really this will give you a really great starting point for like learning how to kind of like build out your pressure game in a more like fleshed out way. And the cool thing is like I'm assuming you have Uncle Punch. So Uncle Punch is also a great resource here for getting a hang of this as well, and also confirming that you're doing things the way you need to be. So before I see you at our next tournament, or well, I guess it's on Saturday.
I was about to say we're gonna see each other in like 48 hours.
Yeah, so maybe like before the next tournament we see each other at after this one. So the next one, can I count on you to have a more complete or more filled out pressure game?
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely like almost like mind blown at the nairs, and I knew that there were like safe options for it, but I think like I see now that I'm doing it too early. Like I'm short hopping, then I'm nairing, and I'm not doing it later, which would be more advantageous. And yeah, no, definitely, because the shield, like when my opponent's shielding, that's what I've always been scared about. But to know that it can still work in my favor is, for lack of a better word, exciting.
Honestly, the shield, as you get better, you're gonna learn that being in shield when the opponent isn't hitting you is one of the primary disadvantage states a player can incur, because whenever somebody shields, so I define disadvantage state as the player who's in disadvantage has to do something that puts that creates an opening, because if they do nothing, something horrible happens to them, or another opening is provided. So an example of this would be with shielding. If you are shielding and you just hold shield and continue to hold shield, what happens?
It breaks.
Right, and then you get deleted by the opponent. So since being deleted by the opponent is a pretty big penalty, you have to fix this. If they are doing absolutely nothing, the onus is on you as the shielder, or the opponent as the shielder, whoever's shielding, to fix that. So that is disadvantage. They have to do something about their position, because otherwise, if they don't, they will lose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think that this is why I think that like you're gonna have a lot of fun with this, because this is like this is offense. Offense is always fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I'll let you go. But
well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you reaching out. Out of curiosity, do you have any constructive feedback for me before we go, or are we good for now?
No, I don't. I only have positive things, and that's to say, like, I've only gotten a lesson from you and Jakob Faust. And so I really like that you had an intake form, because it got me thinking beforehand, and I like that you, like, I don't want to use, like, the word rebuttal, but, like, you questioned why I said certain things. I like that. You weren't just kind of like, okay, cool, like, that's his answer, like, let's go. And I think the only constructive thing that or, like, if I had to say one thing was that, like, for example, watching the video, like, I don't think it's bad whatsoever, but if I could have watched it beforehand, and then, like, we could have saved, like, 10-ish minutes, but I'm not, like, it's not bad. I don't mind spending that 10 minutes going through it. I know some other people might see it differently, but maybe just getting them to, like, watch the videos like that, for example, that you have prepared beforehand, and that way during lesson, like, you can only just go to certain sections. You don't have to watch it from start to finish.
True. I think the start to finish one's a good point. The only problem with, like, in this particular case, as this is our first time together, is it would be very difficult for me to know, like, which video I need in advance. But I think that if we can, assuming we continue to work together, I can definitely
100%,
Amazing. We'll take that under advisement then.
Awesome. Cool. Well, yeah, like I said, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you on Saturday. And also, if you can let me know where this is uploaded after, just so I can watch it again.
It's my channel's KirbyKaze7726, so that should be where it's uploaded.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I will see you on Saturday then, and tell Rick I hope he feels better.
Will do. Have a good one,
right.
Riley/Durnt.
Yeah, you know.
Okay, later.
Bye.